Joining us now is Mitt Romney National Press Secretary Andrea Saul. Good morning, Andrea.
Morning, John.
Great to have you with us. Andrea, just when we hoped, the dialogue in this campaign would finally get elevated. I was at the big rally on Saturday in my hometown of Norfolk, Virginia, and loved the Ryan choice. We're going to get into that in the time that we have. But I was so excited because I said, well, finally we're going to get the dialogue elevated. We're going to be talking about things that are meaningful. And instead, what do we have? Let's start with it. Right now, the Democrats again are talking about the fact that Governor Romney only paid 13.6% of his taxes. Why doesn't he release the tax returns? How do we get this thing to just go away so we can talk about jobs and how to get this economy to grow?
Now, I'm with you. You know, President Obama said last year, if you don't have a record to run on, you make a big election about small things. And that's exactly what we've seen with him. I mean, there's really nothing smaller right now than the presidency of Barack Obama. And, you know, when you accuse your opponent of committing felonies, which they've done, you've lost all credibility. When you accuse your opponent of killing people, which they've done, you've lost all credibility. And so they're trying to do anything they can to keep from talking about the issues that matter to people because they understand that President's record has just not made things better. And, you know, there was actually a Clinton advisor, I don't know if you saw this yesterday, that said, you know, he was surprised to see that the Obama campaign had just completely forfeited the economic argument altogether because they don't have any kind of strong argument to make to why we should reelect President Obama.
Well, I think that's it. I mean, quite frankly, Andrea, I would have preferred that the governor release a decade of his tax returns the way his father did in 1967. I don't even want to get into why he's not. We've already had this dialogue, but he's chosen not to, and that's his decision. We assume that he didn't do anything illegal, so whatever taxes he paid, I think the big issue is we got 8.3% of U.S. citizens unemployed. We've got 19% or 20% underemployed. We've got the economy growing at 1%. We have economic Armageddon, $16 million in debt. And basically, we call ourselves a no gibberish zone. We're just talking every day about nonsense. Okay, now, Joe Biden goes into Danville, and we get this.
Feign Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Andrea, this is on the heels of the racially inflammatory comments that Virginia State Senator and President Obama official Commonwealth spokesperson, Senator Louise Lucas, said on my show 2 weeks ago. Now we got the vice president goes into Southwest Virginia and talks about chain gangs. What is going on with these people?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you know, the Obama campaign, just when we think they can't go any lower, they do. They make baseless attacks and, frankly, slanderous attacks just day in and day out. And again, you know, this is a pattern. It's not just, you know, a one-off statement that that Vice President Biden misspoke. This is a pattern of what they're trying to do to tear down Mitt Romney, to divide Americans, and to distract from the important issues that are going on. You know, as I said before, with no record of accomplishment to run on, President Obama has resorted to a campaign of frustration and division. And, you know, this is obviously an old game in politics, but this president is taking things to a new low, and especially for someone who said that he was going to go to Washington and change things. He's made things worse.
What bothers me about the Biden statement, and I know Joe Biden is a gaffe machine. I mean, I've got an entire thumb drive with MP3s of his gaffes on it, and actually I do hope he stays in politics after he gets beat because it gives me on my show fodder every day. But here's the reality of it. Louise Lucas made very inflammatory statements on my show. That interview went national. She definitely stoked the flames. I talked to the Obama people. They said they were not pleased with it, that she went off the reservation on her own. They promised me to have someone on that would either explain or refute or disassociate the statement. That's another promise made, not kept. Then they cut me off. So now I'm blacklisted for doing my job. So now we get Biden comes in. he makes this statement. Now they're saying the same thing. Oh, he didn't mean it. It's a gaffe. Louise Lucas, oh, she didn't mean it. That was a gaffe. Well, are these gaffes, or do you think their only strategy to win the state of Virginia is to fire up black turnout and do that by invoking this utter nonsense?
Well, I think it's more of a pattern of frustration and division, and just goes to the broader point that they're willing to say anything. You know, the Chains comments came in a long line of other things. You've seen with this Priorities USA ad, they tried to put responsibility for a unfortunate death of a woman on Governor Romney, which is just absolutely insane. And then when you look at the Obama campaign, they refused to disavow the ad. Then it turns out that they had said they didn't know anything about this man's story, when actually they had hosted a conference call with this man. So they not only lied to the media, they lied directly to the American people about this. And meanwhile, David Plouffe is fundraising for this same group last night. And so time and again, it's just a pattern with them. They don't care about the facts. They don't care about the issues that are on all Americans' minds, which are jobs and the economy. It seems that all they care about is doing whatever it takes to hold on to power.
Andrea, we really do on the show try to give an honest assessment of what's happening on either side of the aisle. And I happen to totally agree with this statement. And I think until the media, like us, starts saying, hey, we need to elevate this dialogue because we're just getting caught in a complete gibberish zone, taxes, this and that. You know, now we've got this other ad on the other side, this other PAC ad that came out blasting Obama for leaks and the Osama bin Laden thing. They're trying to do the John Kerry two-step. You know, all this stuff is just a waste of our time. I want to know when we're going to talk about how we're going to cut the deficit, balance the budget, create jobs, and get the economy to expand beyond 1%, which is a prescription for economic Armageddon. So, Andrea, we want to thank you for joining us as always. Thank you, Andrea, for your candor. I'm going to give you a plug, Andrea, because I deal obviously with people in your particular position, different areas. And I want to tell all my listeners one thing about Andrea Saul. She's candid and she tells the truth. And so you're a unique national press secretary because we can always count on Andrea Saul for the truth. Thanks you so much. John.